There are over 500 pop culture fan conventions that occur in the United States every year, ranging from audiences of a few dozen to over 100,000. Attendees flock to these conventions to see celebrities, dress in cosplay, buy merchandise and artwork, and interact with other fans. It's an industry that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars to the national economy and benefits local businesses, entertainment companies, and independent artists. Sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, gaming, anime, or all the above. The pop culture conventions typically have one thing in common: the artist alley. Here, professional artists and those who do this work part-time or as a hobby sell their creations to the fan community.
I have been a professional artist for 20 years. I started out in graphic design, doing work for advertising and publishing, but I've always loved fantasy and science fiction. My goal from the very beginning was to do that professionally.
My full-time job is animation and YouTube, but I do the cons to help on the side. I've been only to a couple before I did Artist Alley. I went to an art school myself, and so I had professors and other students there who were saying, oh, well, you know, this con is opening up its Artist Alley. Do you want to try and get a table with me? And I was like, well, yeah, that sounds like fun. So I like trying new things.
I've been a cartoonist for almost 20 years. Started off in college doing a daily comic strip and also editorial cartoons and advertising illustrations, and then have been doing self-published and web comics ever since.
Oh, I've been sculpting since I was probably 7. Always been interested in art. 6 years ago, it went full-time for me, and been doing it ever since.
This is the studio's 11th year in Artist Alleys. I started out doing custom plush, like 8-inch chibi human plush. And back then, it was all, if you had a favorite character and it wasn't produced as a plushie, you called up a custom artist. And just getting to make people's dreams come true, making their OC or their OTP or some obscure character that was in like 2 episodes. I love being able to provide that sort of service.
Originally, I got into drawing anime stuff and other convention stuff and fan art when I was in like 6th grade. I really liked the cartoons and I tried to imitate the style. And after a couple of years, I decided that it was something that I should try to pursue as a career-wise. So I started doing conventions back in 2010. So it's been about 6 years now. So after doing conventions for a couple of years, I started off on the right foot, but I felt like I needed to push my art career more, so I decided to go back to school in order to learn what really sells. So by going to a school that specializes in comic books and other illustrations, I've actually pushed my art further than I thought I could, and I can actually apply it to all of the pieces that I plan to sell at future conventions.
Anime style art I got into when I was in like high school, so I went on from there. Otherwise, I just been doing artwork forever, basically. Yeah. And I've been doing the convention stuff since about 2005. I had a comic that I put together, and then we were all like, hey, we should totally sell this at a convention. And so we did. That's the story.
It was in May of 2015 that we printed our first 5 books. And here we are 18 months later, we've printed over 85 books under 47 different titles. I would have to say that we've worked with over 40 different creators for these books.
I really try hard to market my stuff towards kids. In my opinion, there's not a lot of books that are really kids books that are also could be enjoyed by adults. So like my strip Marty and Spud is very much geared towards kids. It's about adventure and action and not violence and things like that. And by and large, especially when I do conventions that have a kids day, like on a Saturday or a Sunday, I do really well because kids are kind of drawn to my art style. They enjoy this series. Every kid I've given the book to has loved it and followed it online. So I think I bring a younger element to it, because without fostering an audience when they're younger, you're never going to have them when they're 15, 16, 20, 30, 40. So I think it's important to do that, and I think that's what I bring to the table.
there's more than just the big three out there. There is some incredible talent that's out there that's being overlooked. And the nice thing, when you're finding books like these, you're finding gems, you're finding rarities. You're not finding books that are being printed by 100, 200,000 copies that everyone else has.
These are my original comics. I like doing parody work, like here's one right here, Gestalt Assault. It's a series of one-pagers and gag strips and short stories. It's a collection of things I did for my Anime Club newsletter back in the day, and I put them in a book form.
I think as Marvel and DC kind of wander further and further away from their original roots and the original characterizations of their characters, I think people are going to be looking for less corporate comics. I think people want to support local businesses, local artists, local communities. So I think this is a way for that to expand.
For me as a comic artist and writer, it's being able to develop those relationships with fans. It's the same reason why you have a comment section on your website. You want people to feel engaged with your story and what you're doing.
I'm in it to do this because I love to do it, and I'm in it to do this to help others as well. I think that this is an escape for everybody. It's really a place to come where people can be themselves for once, and I try to help them with their expressions and with their creativeness and try to sell them and build their costumes, build their personalities.
So all these are my own designs. I have to hand sculpt each one, then they're reproduced in resin, and I hand paint each one. So each one is very different, unique, unlike any mask you've seen. So it's just a lot of hand sculpting, a lot of different work. It's not your norm that you usually would find. This is actually the Imperial Lion mask, but it actually was commissioned for a Game of Thrones wedding, where they wanted 3 lions on a mask. They didn't know the design, but they liked 3 lions, so I ended up having 2 lions holding up the sun with a lion face. They loved it.
I actually work at a t-shirt place, so I had access to it, like screen printing and t-shirts and all that type of stuff. And the first year I was doing some artwork, and some people were like, dude, you should put this on a t-shirt. I'm like, yeah. And we did, and it worked out pretty well. So we have to think of something that we think is going to sell well, because it does take more money to print on t-shirts. So if we're going to print on a t-shirt, don't just do anything. The buttons, you can do anything. Those are low commitment, low cost things. But the t-shirts, you want to make sure that it's something really cool.
I like doing fantasy creatures because who's to say what that fantasy creature is supposed to look like, except for me?
I see that this is definitely growing. In the last couple of years, conventions numbers have started to skyrocket because now being a nerd is cool, and it's fun to go to cons. And I see a lot of people dragging more of their friends to it. I think the fan art industry is actually going to get a lot bigger because it's that personal touch on their favorite characters. It's not just cut and copy paste of a poster that everybody can have. It's something that's one of a kind, it's special.
Quality has been going up, so I think because of that, people expect higher quality, and people are expecting more of that higher quality material. And people can provide it, is a big thing. It's not just somebody drawing a picture on a piece of paper, it's high quality, professional looking artwork.
I really think it's growing tremendously, and it's comic books, it's anime, it's all that stuff, and it's definitely sticking around for a while.
One of the main things that we do that a lot of indie companies don't do is that we actually get out and attend conventions to get the word out. We're looking at this as more of an advertisement for our company and for these independent creators. I have some works of art that have sat on creators' computers for 4 years. They've been trying to get it submitted to individual publishing companies that would always turn them down. And when you look at it, you realize, why didn't anyone take this up before? It's great work of art, and it's a shame that it would have just been sitting on somebody's computer. We have over 8,000 followers on Facebook and over 2,000 on Twitter. We're really active on social media, plus attending these conventions. It's a great network for these creators to get the word out.
So when people come over to the convention and check us out, it's great because we can forward them to our social media outlet and have them buy our prints and different artworks there, and it's just a really easy way of keeping contact with the artist after a convention.
It's exposure. You know, the old joke, people die of exposure, but you need to get your name and your artwork out there so that folks will, you know, want to seek you out at conventions, buy your artwork, read your comic strip or your comic books. So for me, conventions are an opportunity to introduce people to the concept of my comics and my strips, meet people, do commissions. Occasionally you can get jobs at conventions. I got a job inking a comic strip at a comic book convention.
My first professional gaming job came out of showing work at a convention. And I came to conventions initially as a sales venue because at the time it was very difficult to get gallery shows and even mainstream publishers to hire you if you did any kind of genre work. So conventions were an unexpected avenue toward publication for me, and then they became a venue for sales in their own right. I mean, I can come here and I can sell directly to people who are passionate about the kinds of work I do. I get to meet lots of interesting people. It's very rewarding professionally, but it's also rewarding personally. I started as a graphic designer, which is about as contract-oriented as you can get. Moving into illustration, I thought there might be more creative opportunity there, and with some companies there are. But in some ways it's even more challenging because you're always doing the work for a client. They come first. Sometimes that means you have to submit your own personal visions and your personal goals to their needs, and sometimes that can be very frustrating. On the other hand, when you do work for a game like Magic the Gathering or something related to Star Wars, which I've been fortunate enough to do, you reap the benefit of having your work seen by thousands of people around the world, and you see their appreciation for it. So for me, it becomes kind of a balancing act. One that at certain points I feel more inclined to do the contract work, at certain points I want to do work that's a little bit more personal. The convention is a great opportunity because those two worlds converge. As long as I have the rights, I'm able to sell both the work that people are familiar with and are fans of, but I can also introduce them to my own work. And that's one of the reasons why being here is so rewarding.
My art has also gotten a lot better by going to cons because I've learned how to do different techniques from other artists, because I'll see something and they're like, hey, I think that's really cool. They're like, oh, I did this and this and this.
There's just so much inspiration around everywhere. It's like there's so many people who are so talented, and you get to meet so many fun and interesting people coming to these.
It's good to see what other people are doing. You might be able to find out, where you can get a better deal on getting your books printed, or you find out about other shows or things like that. So it's a good way to kind of keep track of the market by talking to a bunch of other people that are on the road a lot like you are, and seeing what people want to buy and what they're interested in.
They come up with some great ideas for me to try as commissions, so that's always fun too. I enjoy doing character mashups, from different films, putting them together. They'll say, can you put Ariel with Belle on the beach? And I said, yeah, let me think about it and I'll come up with something. So I'll just leave it to you, and that leaves me free to come up with some fun scenario. Or I like doing the dark ones too. Somebody had me do Ariel marrying Cthulhu, and someone asked to see Snow White poisoning the dwarves with soup. So that's definitely on the dark side, but they're kind of fun to do as well.
What it does is it actually improves my art a lot, because it tells me what a lot of people are interested in, what they want to see more of.
There's some things that I think people wouldn't be interested in, and then I end up getting a bunch of commissions for it, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll have to do more of that in the future.
What I enjoy the most about this type of work is actually meeting all the different people that have similar interests as you, whether it be actual artists when it comes to the drawing aspect, or the fans that appreciate all the stuff that you make. I've made a lot of friends, I've made a lot of connections in the industry, and it's definitely brought me out of my shell, and I've become more confident as an artist and as a person in general.
It lets me interact and mingle with the fans and, see the look on their faces. Because you can make stuff and ship it to their homes, but actually getting to see people enjoy the plush in person, that's what keeps me going.
It keeps it alive and interesting. There's more stuff to it than just buying the official merchandise, seeing the official videos. You get to see the cosplay and people putting stuff together, new artwork, and it keeps the fandom alive and organic,
I really like the variety of stuff you can find there because you can find like plushes or different art, fan arts and things, and it really makes it fun, especially because merchandise stuff is harder to find and it's a lot easier to find what you're looking for from the individual artists.
I think it allows them to have an actual possession of a dragon, for instance, or a special magic object like a box, or some kind of identifying personality trait like jewelry.
It really kind of, I think, helps them further their fandom. Like, it helps you get into your character more if you have more things of what you're from.
You have the ability to have a lot more crossover and people who are fans of different things. So it's a lot more creative than the typical merchandise, and a lot of it's a lot more unique pieces of that.
I really love talking to the people and like seeing all the unique things that they have to sell.
My mask in general, it offers something that's not out there, and that's why making your own is so important. This mask actually has opened the doors to LARPers because this one is extremely durable, and so that opened a whole new realm for LARPers that couldn't wear masks because they break too easy or wouldn't be reliable.
I can't really draw and I'm not really artistic, so it's really amazing to see the kind of things that people can do with all sorts of mediums, and I really like their artwork because I can't do that, so I like to put it up on my wall.
I get to see such beautiful fan art of some of my favorite characters that I could buy and just hang up on my wall when I get home.
Seeing how people, express themselves through art, see my own favorite characters in like a different form.
I have a whole bunch of pins are from an artist who creates all of these characters as cats. And then you get to see somebody who creates them in a different style and then meet original artists as well.
I've got a crazy range of different things. Everything from Sailor Moon to Catgirls to just random steampunk looking pictures even.
I mostly do posters because I have like a wall dedicated to it in my home.
I like it all. Like, I love to get plushies. I love to get like the digital stuff. I love to get pins, artwork, all of it. It's cool. I really like it, and it really shows how talented some people are.
So yeah, this piece of art right next to me is from the artist who was on the crew of the Iron Giant. So he was the original artist who created the character, and we got to meet him at C2E2 last year, 2016, and get this piece of art from him that's been signed, so that was really cool.
The last convention I was at, I got this from an artist who created album covers, fake album covers. So this is, you'll see the Rickman, and so it's Alan Rickman in a ton of different roles and different things that he's done, including, of course, Severus Snape from Harry Potter, of which I'm a big fan. And then on the back, it's got the list of the potential songs. So really drawing from a wide variety of different roles that Alan Rickman has played, and I got this shortly before he passed away.
I have a lot of artwork from a variety of different artists when they first started, coming to conventions, and some of them have actually gone on and become bigger names.
There's just something special about watching fans connect with an artist, connect with an art piece that you don't get at a gallery show or other venues.
I think it really builds a sense of community and just this grouping where I'll be a fan of an artist, I'll get to meet them and then meet other people who enjoy that artist, who are inspired by that artist as well, and it just really builds a community.
I think it does build some loyalty. I mean, I do see people come back and say, hey, I got something last year, and it's pretty cool to see that.
I love talking with the artists just because they're really interesting people, and it's not always just about their artwork, but about the fandoms that they like themselves, and if they cosplay. I know we've met some of our really good friends who are actually artists, and we spent 3 days talking to them, and now we're just best friends with them. And we like to cosplay with them, and we like to talk about our interests. So you can meet some pretty cool people that way.
I do like meeting all kinds of people that get excited about all kinds of the geeky things that I am excited about, you know? And it's just kind of fun being in the crazy environment of it all.
By going to conventions, by having that personal connection, people feel more involved with what you're doing.
The artists are always really excited to interact with people and talk about their work, so it's always really fun to watch them like light up when they talk about what they really love doing.
And getting to talk to the artist in return. As an aspiring artist, what's your process? How do you put yourself out there? How do you develop your own style? Being able to ask that and just really understand it and speak to them face to face.
The people that are planning to have an art career of some kind, I often get to sit with them at conventions and just give them a quick, demo. That's always a blast for me because to see how excited they get when I give them, some drawing tips.
When people come here, they're not just buying a product. They generally get to squeal with me over a manga chapter or an episode of a TV show, and they walk away having a product and also hopefully a good experience about the convention that they can remember for the rest of their time.
I really enjoy meeting the artists because, you can get commissions. The commissions that you get can be tailored to what you're looking for.
Most of the time I'll either get fan art, like specific fan art for characters that they like, or I'll actually get original characters, and those are always fun because you get to learn more about everyone else's imagination and what they like to come up with.
You can do your cosplays. Gray and I have actually done one ourselves.
I draw anything. So if somebody comes up to me with hey, can you draw my original character? It's like, yeah. Can you draw me? I'm like, yeah. Can you draw me as some other character or with different hair or cat ears or whatever? I'm like, yeah.
It's a memorable experience because you get to see some of the things you love over and over again in ways that you never imagined them to be, and at the same time you get to see things that are completely new and get exposed to art and culture in a way that I don't think you would anywhere else.
It's a great experience.